You see, younger women don't flirt with older men the same way they do with guys their own age. It's not loud, it's not obvious, and it's rarely playful in the way you'd expect. Instead, it's quiet, deliberate, like a slow reveal of admiration and curiosity wrapped in mystery. She may not tell you she's interested, but her energy says everything her lips won't. I'm Sarah. Welcome back to Be Feminine, where we uncover the psychology behind attraction, desire, and the subtle ways women express what they feel, but never say out loud. If you've ever wondered how younger women truly show interest in older men without words, without direct confessions, this video will open your eyes to what you might have missed all along. When a younger woman feels drawn to an older man, the attraction often begins with perception, how she sees you. To her, you represent stability, emotional control, and a kind of calm that she doesn't find in younger men. You don't chase attention, you don't need validation. And that very sense of centeredness becomes the first magnet she feels. So, when her eyes linger a little longer, when her tone softens around you, or when she finds subtle reasons to keep you in her presence, it's not accidental, it's instinctual. She might start showing a form of gentle curiosity, asking about your life, your thoughts, or your opinions in a way that feels deeper than small talk. She's not just trying to fill the silence. She's trying to understand the kind of man you are. Her mind is comparing you with what she's used to, the impulsive, distracted energy of younger men. And when she senses that quiet strength in you, she leans in literally and emotionally. You'll notice it in how she listens. Most younger women don't truly listen to men they're not drawn to. But when she is, she'll hang on your words, nod slowly, maybe even tilt her head slightly when you speak. Her body becomes open, her tone becomes softer, and she mirrors your calm energy almost unconsciously. That's not politeness, that's connection. And here's what many men miss: her interest doesn't always come out as overt flirtation. Sometimes it's wrapped in a little nervous energy. She might fidget with her hair, laugh a bit too quickly, or find excuses to stay near you longer than necessary. These aren't random habits. They're signals of her comfort and her intrigue, the tension between being drawn in and trying not to make it obvious. When a younger woman is attracted to an older man, her admiration usually hides beneath respect. She doesn't want to appear immature in front of you, so she chooses subtlety. Instead of teasing, she compliments your mindset. Instead of obvious flirting, she shows appreciation maybe for your insight, your voice, or the way you carry yourself. To her, those things feel masculine in a way that's rare, refined, rather than reckless. And this is where most older men miss it. They think she's just being kind or respectful. But if she goes out of her way to make you feel seen, that's emotional flirtation. When she remembers small things you've said, or when she matches your tone of speech, she's signaling interest through connection, not chaos. The truth is, younger women express attraction to older men in ways that feel safe and emotionally intelligent. They don't need to compete for your attention because deep down, they sense that your attention carries value. It's not given freely. It's earned through presence, through energy. So when she lowers her guard around you, when her laughter becomes softer, or when her eyes linger longer than politeness allows, she's speaking a language older men are often too humble to recognize. Admiration wrapped in restraint. Because to her, you're not just a man, you're an experience. Something she hasn't felt before. And that curiosity, that emotional pull, is what makes her flirt without words, with silence, that feels more intimate than conversation itself. As your connection with her deepens, the way she shows interest becomes even more refined. You'll notice that her energy changes around you, it softens. Younger women, when drawn to older men, often become more feminine in their presence. She may not even realize it, but her body language begins to mirror a kind of quiet respect. Her movements slow down, her tone becomes warmer, and her gaze lingers longer than she intends. These aren't conscious choices, they're instinctive reactions to the calm, grounded presence you carry. A younger woman flirting with an older man doesn't rely on dramatic gestures or loud humor. She doesn't need to prove she's attractive. She wants you to feel it instead. She might brush her hair back when she's around you, expose a bit of her neck, or stand closer than necessary while pretending not to notice. Her body naturally turns toward you, even in a group setting. And when you speak, her eyes don't just look at you, they study you. She's reading your energy, watching how you react, and testing whether your calmness is real or just an act. And that's where many men miss the depth of female psychology. You see, when a young woman is attracted to an older man, it's rarely just about appearance. It's about what she feels when she's around him. Does she feel safe? Does she feel seen? Does she feel like her emotions are steady instead of chaotic? If the answer is yes, she begins to invest emotionally before she even realizes it. Her way of flirting turns into a dance between curiosity and vulnerability, wanting you to notice her, but not wanting to appear desperate for your attention. One of the clearest signs of this is emotional mirroring. You'll notice her start to adapt her rhythm to yours, the way she speaks, her tone, even her choice of words. She'll subtly align her emotional energy with yours, as if matching your wavelength. This isn't manipulation, it's attraction on a subconscious level. She's creating emotional harmony without saying a word. Another powerful cue is the eye contact shift. With younger men, women often use fast, playful glances, a mix of teasing and excitement. But with an older man, her gaze becomes deeper, slower, and more intentional. It's the kind of eye contact that holds silence comfortably. She's not just looking at your face, she's feeling you through it. If she locks eyes with you and doesn't look away immediately, that's not confidence, it's curiosity mixed with emotional pull. You might also notice her seeking your validation in quiet ways. She'll mention something about her life, maybe her goals, her habits, or even her insecurities, just to see how you respond. If you respond with warmth and emotional steadiness, she opens up more. This emotional opening is her version of flirting. It's her way of inviting you into her inner world without needing to ask directly. And there's something even subtler the way she laughs. Around younger men, laughter often comes from amusement. Around an older man she's drawn to, it comes from comfort. It's a different tone, softer, more genuine, with a touch of admiration underneath. It's as if her laughter becomes a bridge, a way of saying, "I like how you make me feel." But here's the most fascinating part. When she's around you, she may also become slightly self-conscious. She'll adjust her clothes, touch her face, or check her reflection in nearby surfaces. She's not doing it for vanity. It's her body's way of signaling attraction. When a woman feels emotionally drawn to a man, she subconsciously wants to appear more attractive in his eyes. At times, her flirting may even look like emotional contrast moments of teasing followed by unexpected softness. She might make a playful remark, then immediately soften her tone, as if she doesn't want to push too far. That little shift from confidence to sweetness is a sign she cares about how you perceive her. It shows she's aware of your presence and sensitive to your reaction, which is one of the clearest indicators of genuine attraction. Younger women often underestimate how transparent their emotions become around older men who truly pay attention. When you observe her carefully, you'll realize she's not hiding her feelings. She's expressing them through grace instead of noise. Her glances, her tone, her stillness, they all speak louder than words ever could. So, if you're an older man who finds yourself wondering whether a younger woman is interested, don't look for exaggerated flirting. Look for subtle alignment. Does her energy calm down around you? Does her voice drop slightly when she speaks to you? Does she seem more feminine, more thoughtful, more aware of herself? These are not coincidences. These are signs of emotional synchronization, her silent way of saying, "You affect me." And the more grounded you are, the more her attraction grows. Because to a younger woman, an older man's true power isn't in his appearance, it's in his stillness. It's in how he doesn't rush, how he observes, how he makes her feel safe to be herself. That emotional safety becomes magnetic. It's the foundation of a kind of desire that's not about thrill, but about depth. By the time she realizes how drawn she is, she's already emotionally invested without ever having said a word. And that's the essence of feminine attraction. It's quiet, emotional, and profoundly intuitive. Attraction between a younger woman and an older man doesn't follow the same rules that apply to most relationships. It's built less on surface-level thrill and more on the emotional feeling she experiences around you, a mixture of safety, curiosity, and subtle tension. What truly draws her in isn't what you do, but what you don't do. That's the paradox most older men don't even realize they embody. You see, when you don't chase, when you don't try to impress her with grand gestures, you create emotional space, and in that space, her imagination begins to work. Younger women are used to men who try too hard to win them over, who respond to every smile or hint with instant pursuit. But when you don't react the way she expects, she begins to wonder what makes you so calm. That mystery is magnetic. She starts thinking about you, replaying your words, your expressions, and the way you make her feel without saying much. It's that very self-control that becomes your strongest form of attraction. Because while younger men often seek approval, older men who are grounded in their presence show a kind of quiet confidence that feels rare, and women, especially younger ones, can sense that difference instantly. Your ability to stay emotionally steady, even when she's subtly testing your attention, tells her something powerful. You're not trying to get her. You're simply allowing her to come closer. That's where the psychology deepens. A younger woman subconsciously feels more feminine around a man who doesn't react impulsively. Your calmness gives her permission to express her softness. She starts to flirt through energy, not words. She becomes more graceful, more emotionally open, because she feels like she's being seen without judgment. This is one of the most powerful dynamics between younger women and older men. It's not a chase, it's a pull. And the trigger behind that pull? Emotional polarity. It's the balance between her emotional intensity and your emotional control. She brings warmth, movement, and curiosity. You bring steadiness, patience, and certainty. Together, that contrast creates tension, the kind of tension that feels like chemistry without needing physical touch. If you pay attention, you'll notice moments when she intentionally creates small opportunities for connection. Maybe she asks for your advice, seeks your opinion, or accidentally bumps into you again. These little setups aren't random. They're her way of bridging the gap, giving herself another moment in your presence. And the more composed you remain during these encounters, the stronger her attraction grows. Another powerful trigger comes from emotional validation, but not the kind that most people think of. When you acknowledge her thoughts with genuine curiosity rather than shallow compliments, she feels respected, not pursued. That difference matters. To her, your attention feels safe, mature, and real, and that emotional recognition activates her deeper attraction because you're not feeding her ego, you're connecting with her essence. Younger women often underestimate older men at first because they expect predictability, the nice guy who's kind but unexciting, or the distant man who's emotionally unavailable. But when they meet an older man who blends calmness with a quiet spark, who can listen deeply, hold eye contact, and communicate without pressure, everything changes. They begin to feel emotions they can't easily label. That's when you'll notice her behavior shift again. She becomes more intentional with her presence. She may dress slightly differently around you, or her posture becomes softer and more open. She might send a simple message or share something personal, testing whether you'll receive her vulnerability with maturity. These are all signs of emotional trust, her silent way of saying, "You feel safe to me." The irony is that most men ruin this moment by chasing validation instead of maintaining composure. But if you can stay grounded, confident, kind, and slightly mysterious, you'll notice her attraction deepening on its own. Because now, she's not chasing attention, she's chasing understanding. And older men who truly see a woman emotionally, not just physically, become unforgettable to her. And here's something subtle yet powerful. When a younger woman flirts with an older man, she's not just exploring attraction, she's testing maturity. She wants to know if your confidence is real, if your calm energy stays steady when she's playful or when she gives mixed signals. Because if it does, she feels safe enough to drop her guard. And once she drops that guard, her femininity unfolds naturally soft, expressive, and magnetically alive. So when she starts to show interest without words, when she lets her eyes linger, when her voice softens, when she starts sharing little pieces of her world, remember, it's not random, it's instinctive. She's drawn to your energy, not your effort. And the more you embody that still, self-assured presence, the more her desire grows, not because you're trying to make her want you, but because your calmness allows her to feel herself more deeply around you. That's the real secret of how younger women show interest in older men. Through silence, through softness, through alignment. They don't need to say it, because when she's truly drawn to you, every glance, every gesture, every subtle shift in her energy already tells the story. So now that you know how younger women quietly show interest, the real question is, how should you respond? Because here's the truth. The way you react determines whether her attraction deepens or fades away. Younger women are incredibly intuitive. They don't just observe your words, they feel your energy. And if your response breaks the calm, confident rhythm that drew her in, that invisible bond can disappear as quickly as it appeared. The first thing to remember is simple but powerful: don't rush the connection. When a younger woman is subtly showing interest, she's not inviting you to chase. She's inviting you to match her energy. She's feeling you out, observing whether you can stay composed in the presence of her feminine pull. If you respond with excitement or impatience, you disrupt the dynamic that made you attractive in the first place. But if you stay calm, warm, but steady, you confirm what she already suspected, that your confidence doesn't depend on her reaction. You can show interest without chasing. The difference is in how you do it. Speak with presence. Listen deeply. Compliment thoughtfully, but rarely. A younger woman can tell when an older man sees her beyond her appearance, when he appreciates her personality, her thoughts, her curiosity. That kind of validation doesn't make her feel admired like a girl. It makes her feel understood as a woman. And that emotional recognition is one of the most magnetic things you can give her. The second key is emotional control. A younger woman is drawn to older men partly because of their ability to remain composed. It's that steadiness that allows her to relax into her own femininity. So, when she flirts, perhaps teasing you, joking, or creating subtle tension, never respond with insecurity. Smile. Hold eye contact. Let the moment breathe. That quiet confidence speaks louder than any clever line ever could. There's a phrase in feminine psychology: she flirts to feel, not to convince. When a younger woman engages with an older man, she's not necessarily trying to make something happen right away. She's exploring the emotional chemistry, testing how it feels to be around a man who doesn't react like the rest. If you can make her feel safe while still holding your ground, you'll create a kind of attraction that feels effortless and genuine. And this brings us to another truth: mystery matters. You don't have to reveal everything about yourself too soon. Younger women are drawn to depth. They want to sense there's more to you than what you show. Share glimpses of your thoughts, experiences, and insights, not everything at once. Let her earn your openness slowly. That slow unveiling keeps her curiosity alive because the unknown always keeps feminine energy intrigued. The next thing to remember is authentic presence. When you talk to her, don't multitask. Don't check your phone. Don't rush your words. Just be there. The most attractive men to younger women aren't the loudest or the flashiest. They're the ones who make her feel like time slows down when she's with them. When she senses that you're fully present, she feels valued. And that emotional attentiveness becomes one of the deepest forms of flirtation you can give. Also, don't be afraid of silence. Silence between two people who are emotionally aware isn't awkward, it's electric. It gives her space to feel the moment. Sometimes the best way to respond to her interest is through energy, not words, a steady gaze, a soft smile, a calm tone. Those quiet responses speak the language her intuition understands best. Another important point: never try to act younger to keep her attention. That's one of the biggest mistakes men make. The reason she's drawn to you is because you're different, because your maturity and confidence set you apart. Trying to imitate youthful energy breaks the spell. Instead, let your composure be the contrast she enjoys. She doesn't want another version of herself. She wants the groundedness that makes her feel safe and alive at the same time. And finally, if you sense that her interest is genuine, if she keeps showing up, giving you attention, and aligning her energy with yours, then respond with subtle leadership. You don't have to chase, but you can guide the connection. Suggest a moment to talk, share a coffee, or have a real conversation. Keep it simple, natural, and grounded. The goal isn't to impress, it's to connect. Because ultimately, what younger women desire in older men isn't perfection, it's peace. They want to feel the kind of masculine energy that doesn't demand, doesn't pressure, and doesn't need to prove itself. They're drawn to the man who already knows who he is, the man who can look into her eyes and make her feel both understood and excited at the same time. So when she shows interest through her glances, her tone, her silence, recognize it, but don't rush it. Let the connection unfold naturally. Because the moment you stop trying to earn her attention, you start commanding it. That's the power of quiet attraction. It doesn't need words, just awareness. And when you understand that, you stop chasing signals and start embodying the kind of energy women can't help but respond to. In the end, attraction between younger women and older men isn't about strategy, tricks, or manipulation. It's something deeper, something emotional, instinctive, and quietly magnetic. Younger women don't fall for older men because of their age. They fall because of the energy that age often brings. The maturity, the patience, the way an experienced man makes her feel grounded without ever trying to control her. When a younger woman shows interest in you without words, it's her way of saying, "I see something in you I don't find anywhere else." She may not even understand it fully herself. All she knows is that your presence calms her mind but stirs her emotions. You give her a sense of security while awakening her curiosity, and that balanced safety mixed with subtle tension is the essence of feminine attraction. So many men think that to attract a younger woman, they must compete with youth, dress younger, talk younger, act younger. But that's not what she truly wants. She's not seeking another boy. She's drawn to the man who's comfortable in his own skin, the man who doesn't chase, who doesn't need to fill silence with words, who leads through quiet confidence rather than performance. That's the kind of energy that makes her soften, open up, and show her interest through actions instead of confessions. It's in the way she lingers when saying goodbye, the way her laughter slows down around you, the way her tone becomes more gentle, more feminine, more aware of itself. These are not coincidences, they are her emotional signals. When a woman feels something real, her behavior becomes tender without her realizing it. Her femininity responds to your stillness. That's why it's so important not to rush those moments. If you learn to sit comfortably in that tension, to simply be, you give her space to feel you. And that's when connection happens. Because women don't connect through logic, they connect through emotion. They remember how you made them feel, not what you said. When you stay composed, you trigger one of the most powerful psychological responses in feminine attraction: emotional safety. She feels safe being expressive, playful, and open because she knows you won't judge her or lose control. That's when she starts revealing more of her true self, not the version she shows the world, but the one that only surfaces around a man who can handle her emotions with calm strength. And that's exactly what separates older men from younger ones. The younger man may have energy, but the older man has presence. The younger man reacts, the older man observes. The younger man talks, but the older man listens. And it's in that difference that she feels the shift, that realization, that she's finally met a man who doesn't just see her body, but her essence. So when you sense her interest, when she gazes longer, listens deeper, or subtly mirrors your movements, don't question it. Don't overthink it. Just recognize it with quiet awareness. Hold eye contact for a second longer. Smile with warmth, not intention. Let her feel that you notice her, but that you don't need anything from her. That balance acknowledgement without need is the foundation of deep masculine presence. And here's the truth. The most attractive thing about an older man is not what he says or owns, it's how he feels. His peace, his restraint, his ability to create stillness in a world full of noise. That's the space where feminine desire blooms, because every younger woman who's ever fallen for an older man didn't do it. Because of logic, she did it because he made her feel something different. She felt like she could stop pretending, like she could exhale, like she could be her true self without being judged or rushed. That emotional comfort, wrapped in mature masculinity, is what makes her show interest in quiet, graceful ways. So, the next time a younger woman looks at you with soft eyes, leans in a little closer, or finds small reasons to stay near you, understand that it's not random. It's her feminine intuition responding to your masculine calm. She's not chasing attention, she's responding to energy. And if you can stay grounded in who you are, not trying to prove, not trying to perform, but simply allowing her to feel your steady presence, you'll begin to notice something beautiful. You won't have to chase attraction. It will find you naturally. Because the kind of energy you carry as an older man isn't loud. It's magnetic. It doesn't shout. It draws in. That's the quiet power of masculine maturity. It doesn't demand desire. It inspires it. If you found this video meaningful, make sure to subscribe to Be Feminine, where we decode the beautiful hidden layers of female psychology and attraction. Every week we explore how understanding women begins with mastering your own energy. Until next time, stay grounded, stay calm, and remember, real attraction doesn't need to be forced. It simply happens when your presence speaks louder than words.